Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Hi, I'm Shannon Sweeney. I've been a player or coach for most of my life, and I understand the need to keep our kids motivated and safe. As a parent and coach, I also understand the need to make sure our children are protected. That's why insurance is as an important part of the game as a good coach is. I've known my fellow coach, Wayne Dietz, for 10 years. I've seen him motivate and inspire players both on and off the floor. I've also seen him make sure that our children are safe by making sure that the teams are properly insured. As a coach, we don't often think about insurance, and when you work with Wayne and his team at D&H Risk Solutions, you won't have to. They take care of everything with honesty and integrity so that you can focus on what you do best, coaching your team to victory.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Hardware, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, and Valley Paint and Hardware. Come in, we're local.
Welcome to Vernon Vibes. As always, it's great to be with you. I look forward to this opportunity to speak with you because it gives me the time and the opportunity to speak to you directly about what's happening here in Town Hall, what's happening in your local government, and some of the things that are happening around town. So I thank you for joining us, and hopefully you will find it informative, and you'll gain a better understanding of some of the things that you may see in the local papers. It's awfully tough for the people that cover Vernon Township for the weeklies and the local paper to get it all down. So we have the opportunity to speak to you about those sort of things, and I certainly cherish that. As I like to do, I like to start off with some of the things that are happening around town. And as some of you know, because you saw the production this past weekend, this coming weekend, Thoroughly Modern Millie will still be available to be seen live at the Vernon Township High School. And if those of you who haven't seen it yet, I would encourage you to go see it. Kathy and I enjoyed it. It was a great performance. It really is high quality theater, and I would recommend and encourage all who watch me, whether you live in Vernon or not, to come by. Tickets are available at the door. There's plenty of room, and I know that you will enjoy a great night of theater that has been put on by amateurs who are interested in theater under the directorship and tutelage of Mrs. Burns. Heather is just a dynamite individual and a powerhouse in local theater. For those of you who know her, you know that she is the drama teacher at West Milford High School, lives in Highland Lakes, is a lifelong resident of Vernon Township, and one of our very people that we're proud of. I consider her a member of our treasure trove. We're fortunate to have the kind of commitment that Heather demonstrates with her people. I know that I had the opportunity to speak with her right before the production went on stage last week, and I can tell you that it takes a tremendous amount of energy. So I want to encourage you all to support the Highland Stage. It's a great asset in Vernon Township. In addition, as I called out last time, the Sussex County Annual Picnic, Veterans Picnic, was a big success this past weekend. And if you missed it, I would suggest to you that you put it on your calendar for next year. A lot of people enjoyed it, and it's really a great thing for all. Also last weekend, the Vernon Township Police Department and the Emergency Services held a major training session at the Vernon Township High School. And again, it was a tremendous success. I had the opportunity to observe what was happening there, and I can tell you with a high degree of confidence that the professionalism that is displayed by our fire company, our ambulance squads, and the Vernon Township Police Department in handling crisis situations is quite impressive. Lieutenant Dan Young was the coordinator for this program, along with the fire chiefs of the 4 fire companies and the captains of the 2 ambulance squads. And again, your emergency service people have been serving you well, and I wanted to call it to your attention and let you know that there's an awful lot that goes into being a volunteer in Vernon Township, and this was part of it. I think that if we run into a situation of importance, our people will be ready and prepared as a result of the training that took place on August 16th at the Vernon High School. I'll be back in just a minute.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Hardware, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, and Valley Paint and Hardware. Come in, we're local.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Welcome back. As I like to do, of course, I'd like to call to your attention some of the things that have happened at the most recent town council meeting, which actually was held on July the 28th. And first on that agenda that evening was the swearing in of Miranda Mader. You will recall from previous Vernon Vibe sessions that Miranda is actually the 3rd female to be hired as a Vernon Township patrolman. One of those individuals years ago didn't make it through the training academy, and one of them did, but then got hurt shortly after taking responsibility as a patrolman. And so Miranda is the first female patrol officer in a very, very long time to join the Vernon Police Department. I am proud to tell you that she excelled through the Morris County Police Academy. And in fact, the reports from her mentors, who she has worked with since returning to active duty here under the tutelage of a mentor, have been of the highest quality. I look forward to her having a long and successful career as a Vernon patrol officer, and may very well someday find herself in a position of responsibility. I sure hope if she wants to do that, she has the opportunity. Miranda, good luck. Welcome. All of the township await you joining the department actively on your own, and we're glad to have you. So for those of you who live in Vernon, it's something to be celebrated and something to look for, and I assure you that as we go down the road and hire additional patrol people in Vernon Township, we are definitely looking for qualified women. And of course, those of you who understand that we're civil service understand that we're limited to some degree in that respect, simply because we have to hire off of a list that is generated by a test that is taken. But we continue to look for qualified women, and we will continue to do that, hopefully to add some more in the future. Again, congratulations, Miranda. We're happy to have you aboard. In addition, one of the I think exciting things that I had an opportunity to share with the town council in my mayor's report relates to the $2 million bond that was approved by the council about a month ago. That $2,066,000 bond was put out for bid, and the results, I would tell you, were very impressive. Vernon Township actually will be borrowing that $2,066,000 at an interest rate of 0.499%. That's less than 0.5% interest. Ladies and gentlemen, that is phenomenal. It's a testament to the respect that the banking institutions and the finance companies that bid on these bonds has in Vernon Township. And I'm proud to tell you that it's an outstanding number. I really never anticipated being that low. Prior to this time, the lowest that we had seen was about, if I remember correctly, 0.69%. This is fully at 50% lower. And so, obviously, the financial institutions recognize the progress that we have made here in Vernon Township in terms of managing our financing and using our professionals, both in-house and our professionals, consultants, in the best way to see to it that Vernon's finances are in great order. I know I've talked to you about it a lot in the past. I certainly don't mean to belabor the point, but we have a very high bond rating from Moody's, and we're very proud of it. We maintained it through the tough economic times that we have gone through over the past several years, and in addition, we've increased our cash surplus, we've reduced our taxes, and at the same time, we've been able to increase services. The banking institutions recognize that, and when they decide to invest their money in Vernon Township, all of that comes into their decisions. So I'm proud to tell you about it. Also, as part of that financial plan that I'm speaking about, the council, the meeting before last, approved a refunding of a permanent bond. And I know, again, that I've spoken to you about this in the past, but I'm not sure that everyone understands the implications of refunding a permanent bond. In essence, what we will be doing is we will be paying off the face amount of the bond on its call date. We will then borrow the money that is the balance of that bond, and in fact, it will be for the same amount of time that was left on the old bond. We're not extending the time. Why are we doing it then? Because by today's interest rates, we will save over the remaining years of that permanent bond $290,000 in interest. $290,000 in interest cost on the same amount of money. I am so proud to work with the likes of Elke Yetter, our CFO, Bill Zuckerman, our business administrator, Bud Jones of the Nisavacia Company, our auditor, and Robert Beinfield, our bond counsel. That's our financial team. And I can tell you, they are working very, very hard on our behalf to see to it that our finances are in order and that all of our responsibilities are fulfilled and that we can continue to deliver you services that you can afford and that are not dragged down by the cost of borrowing or, in fact, collecting tax dollars. I'll be back in just a minute.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Hardware, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, and Valley Paint and Hardware. Come in. We're local.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Welcome back. Additionally, at our most recent town council meeting of the 28th, there were actually 6 gentlemen who have been designated by the federal government as totally disabled veterans. And as totally disabled veterans under New Jersey state statute, those people are no longer required to pay property tax. And so at the meeting of the 28th, the council adopted the authorization of cancellation of property taxes for the 6 individuals and also a refund of the amount of money that they had paid in this past year since the time of the approval of their application for total disability. It's a way of the state of New Jersey and the municipalities in New Jersey of thanking our veterans in a very measurable and real way. And I know that the council in Vernon was very proud to be able to say to those veterans, thank you, in a real way, in a monetary way. And so that was taken care of at the last meeting. In addition, the council awarded the contract to replace the roof on the DPW building. Now, you've heard me talk about it in the past, but we had to wait for the approval and the availability of the bond money to do it. The contract is being awarded to the Zytone Construction Company, who are the low bidders on the project, And for those of you who pass through the Church Street area of the Municipal Center, I'm sure in the very near future you're going to be seeing construction crews taking off the old roof, which now is almost 40 years old, and replacing it, in fact, with a new insulated roof that will give that building a new life and certainly will help cut down on the heating and cooling costs that are part of our expenses here. So that project is going forward. In addition, the council approved unanimously a resolution in support of the project that is going on statewide and here in Sussex County with the leadership of the prosecutor's office and our new police chief, Randy Mills. Vernon Township officers will be trained and will be able, by the end of September, to administer a heroin overdose drug called Narcan. Narcan is a drug that's been around for quite some time in injectable form, but not too long ago the manufacturers were able to develop a form that is simply a nasal spray, and the results are dramatic. If in fact you unfortunately run into an overdose situation in your home or the like, call immediately. Our police officers will be trained, and administration of Narcan in many, many cases can save a life. And so we're very happy to be on the leading edge of that. Vernon Township has in fact been preparing for it now for a year. The resolution was in fact led by Councilman Dan Kadish, but I can assure you that the entire council was 100% behind our police and our prosecutor's office, and it's another step in attempting to deal with this scourge that we're all facing. Unlike some other communities and unlike some of the people in our community, I will not stick my head in the sand and pretend that this is not occurring. All of New Jersey, all of the New York metropolitan area, and maybe even beyond, I just don't know for sure, is experiencing a dramatic increase in the use of heroin. And the dangers of the use of heroin are great. And so for you young people who are watching, take some advice from an old person. Don't do it. Don't even try it the first time, because if you do, you're on the road to destruction. Your life is worth more than that. And as to parents, please pay attention to who your children are hanging with, your younger adults, who they're spending their time with, monitoring, looking at their behavior for changes and the like. The only way we're going to overcome this is if we all work together. And the Narcan situation and the resolution and the administering of it by our police is just one small piece of the puzzle. I'll be back in just a minute.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Hardware, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, and Valley Paint and Hardware. Come in, we're local.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Welcome back. Additionally, the council accepted a resolution and then adopted a first reading of an ordinance to in fact purchase the building on Route 94 designated as Block 141, Lot 12.01 and Lot 13, commonly referred to as 293 Route 94. You all will recognize it as the present home of the Vernon Township Historical Society. The Board of Education has indicated that they are no longer interested in owning it, and for the amount of $1, Vernon Township will take ownership of that building. We will continue to, in fact, lease it to the Historical Society, the township will, as we have done since the date that we started renting it from the Board of Education for $1. The Historical Society is a very important part of your town government, and while some of you may not realize it, while they are not a direct board or commission of the township, the Vernon Township Historical Society is the keeper of the Vernon Township Historical Archives, and that includes some of the records of the township as far back as the late 1700s. In addition, they are what's known as Friend of the Park to the state of New Jersey, and as a result, they are the eyes and the ears and the institution that deals with the Wawayanda State Park on issues of how the land is used and how making suggestions on better ways to improve the park. More importantly, they also serve the same purpose for the Black Creek Reservation, which is adjacent to Maple Grange Park, and hold many, many, many educational programs throughout the year. As I'm speaking to you today, they're just wrapping up an archaeological study that they put on every summer for individuals who are interested in learning about archaeology. They actually go out to the area of the Black Creek Reservation and do some archaeological digging, and it's just a phenomenal experience. They also are the sponsors of Hands-On History, which is developed for the young people in Vernon Township to learn about and experience Vernon's history. So they're a very important part of our community, and I'm happy to tell you that in the very near future, Vernon will own the building that they are in, and we will continue, as long as I'm your mayor, to see to it that they have a comfortable place to conduct their activities and to, in fact, archive the things that are important to our history. I'll be back in just a minute.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Hardware, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, and Valley Paint and Hardware. Come in. We're local.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Welcome back. I'm sure that all of you know by now that on July 16th, Judge Wiesenbeck in the court in Morristown handed down a decision in the Sally Rinker, Lynn Van Gorder versus the Township of Vernon, Victor J. Murata, and council members Patrick Rizzuto, Brian Lynch, Edward Dunn, Richard Wetzel, and Daniel Kadish. This lawsuit was brought by Sally Rinker and Lynn Van Gorder, requesting several things of the judge. One was to actually require the town council and myself to pay back to the township the amount of money that had been disseminated to our employees in the form of a bonus in 2012 and 2013. Two was to, in fact, make me pay back the premium for my health insurance, contending that, of course, I was not a full-time employee, but rather, I forget what term they used, but it doesn't really matter. They wanted me to have to pay the township back for that. They also were asking for punitive damages and the like. Here's what the judge said. The performance award program, insofar as it set compensation for department heads and officers, was invalid. No, excuse me, was voided by this decision of his. He then went on to say that salary raises granted by the mayor to the department heads and officers are void. Well, when I first read that, I thought, oh my goodness. He went on then to say the mayor is entitled to health care coverage as a full-time employee of the township. Thank you very much, Mrs. Rinker and Mrs. Van Gorder, for finally settling what has been a much ballyhooed and bantered about issue in Vernon Township as to whether I'm part-time or full-time. It's now been decided by a judge, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a full-time employee. Those of you who know how I do my job knew I was all along, but it's no longer in question. This mayor is a full-time employee of Vernon, and I am not directed to pay back the premiums on my health insurance or any other benefits that accrue to a full-time employee of Vernon Township. The last part of this is the plaintiffs requested that the defendants, that's me and the counsel, reimburse the township for inappropriate performance awards and salaries. That is denied. So let's go back through it. The requested repay has been denied. The request to repay my health insurance is denied. He didn't like the way that it was done. If you read the judge, that is, if you read the entire decision, he clearly says that there was some questions because there were two statutes that could govern. Basically, Judge Wiesenbach decided to say, in his judgment, this is the way it should be done. An ordinance or a resolution is required by the town council to, in fact, go on with this program. I assure you that by the end of 2014, the performance bonuses that will be paid in accordance to the direction of the judge. So what did Mrs. Rinker and Mrs. Van Gorder have us do? They had us spend $25,000 thereabouts to defend a lawsuit in which they got to say, oh, you didn't do it right. Well, all I can tell you is we did it under legal advice, and the judge himself in his decision indicates that there was some question as to what to apply, but he was deciding what applied, and therefore, in the future, we'll do it the way the judge says. We will do it according to this particular decision. $25,000 to be able to say, you did it wrong. It's an awful lot of money. And I guarantee you, before it's all said and done, when you see what these people have cost you in legal fees with their various suits, including the one most recently by Mr. Visciconti, asking the judge to decide to put my salary question back on the ballot, ladies and gentlemen, when it's all said and done, I'm going to be happy to tally it up and show you exactly what this action by Mrs. Rinker and her political allies has cost you. I'll let you be the judge as to whether it was warranted or not. I thank you for being with us. I look forward to seeing you the next time. Have a great evening.
Hi, I'm Shannon Sweeney. I've been a player or coach for most of my life, and I understand the need to keep our kids motivated and safe. As a parent and coach, I also understand the need to make sure our children are protected. That's why insurance is as an important part of the game as a good coach is. I've known my fellow coach, Wayne Dietz, for 10 years. I've seen him motivate and inspire players both on and off the floor. I've also seen him make sure that our children are safe by making sure that the teams are properly insured. As a coach, we don't often think about insurance, and when you work with Wayne and his team at D&H Risk Solutions, you won't have to. They take care of everything with honesty and integrity so that you can focus on what you do best, coaching your team to victory.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Hardware, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, and Valley Paint and Hardware. Come in, we're local.